Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing my version of the viral latte makeup trend. I know I'm a little late to this trend, but let's be honest, I'm not really one that jumps on a lot of the makeup trends, but this one keeps popping up in my feed, and it's actually a look that I can completely embrace. I love this look. It's very beautiful. It's neutrals. You can really put your own twist on it, whether you prefer more of a warmer neutral look or a cool tone neutral look. I love that it's all kind of like this monochromatic neutral look. So I got some of my favorite products, and I have a new eye product from Merit Beauty. I did team up with them for this video. I'm very excited to share this with because it is one of my favorite categories of products. It is a cream eyeshadow. This is their new solo shadow, and I'm excited to share this with you. I've been testing it for a few weeks, and we're going to get to all of that. But I've got an assortment of goodies here, and it is hot in Texas. You've all heard it's like 110 degrees here, and that's legit, no exaggeration. So I am going to be incorporating some steps to just make sure my makeup lasts all day, and I'm going to try and keep the makeup pretty light because I don't want the feel of a lot of makeup on my skin. So I don't have anything on my skin right now. Let's go ahead and prep the skin. I am going to be going in with a primer, and the primer I'm going to be using is the Jane Iredale Smooth Affair Brightening Primer. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this and apply this in the center of my face. This is just going to smooth the skin in the center of the face, and it's just going to really give a good primer for that foundation to grip and stay on the skin. Next, we're going to go in and apply our foundation and complexion, and I'm using the Merit Beauty. This is their complexion stick, and I love this because you can use it as foundation or you can use it as concealer. I thought I had two shades here, but I have the same. I have ochre, and this is a really great, easy multitasking product. It's really quick and easy to apply, and like I said, you can use it for concealer as well. I'm going to start with little bitty layers, and then I'm going to build if I feel like I need more coverage. What I love about Merit's products is that they are all very buildable. They really embrace like minimal makeup. They also embrace multitasking products that you'll find that a lot of their products you can use, in more ways than you would think it's intended for. So I just did I said I was going to apply a little bit. I actually kind of got pretty good coverage from this. And then I'm going to go in and blend this out. Now, I have had the pleasure of working with Merit in the past, but I do want to share, if you're newer to my channel, a few of their promotions that are like need to know. So when you shop on Merit's website, if you're a brand new customer, your first order, you get their signature bag included in your first order. It's this really cute corduroy little, it kind of looks like a little handbag, honestly. It opens like this, and you can treat this and use this as a handbag. You can also use it as a makeup bag. It's super cute. I've had mine for a couple years now, and I just love it. And they also offer free shipping on orders of $40 or more. So good to know when you're shopping Merit Beauty products, if you get those incentives when you shop directly on their website. So this is a good shade match for me. It's actually kind of the perfect shade match for me. I can use this summer or winter. It blends into the skin really quickly with minimal effort. All of Merit's products are non-comedogenic, which means that they are not going to clog your pores, and they're really great if you are more prone to acne because they eliminate a lot of ingredients that can trigger acne. So if that is something that your skin deals with, this is a great brand to try and check out. I also like their products because, like I said, they're all pretty buildable, meaning that you have a lot of versatility. You can get a really sheer application, whether it's a foundation or lip products or eye products, but you can also layer and build for more pigmentation and more color. Okay, so I think I've got pretty good coverage. I do have a little bit of pinkness here on my nose, so I'm going to go and add a little more foundation there just to get a little more coverage. Another product that I want to share, I don't have it here at my studio, it's at home because I love it and use it regularly. It's the Great Skin. It's like this beautiful, really unique texture. It's almost like a face oil and a water. It's a very lightweight oil. It's so beautiful on the skin. You can use it as a primer, you can use it as a serum if you want a little bit of extra glow. Obviously, if you use it as a primer underneath your makeup, it's going to give the skin more of a glow. Perfect. Okay. All right. So now I've got really great natural coverage. I'm going to go in and add a little more concealer and coverage under my eye. I'm using the Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear. I'm the shade 260 in this. And this is a good concealer if you want a lighter feel, but still great coverage. I'm just going to put a little bit under the eye here. I have been having to catch up on my sleep. I did some traveling this week, and I was on a different time zone. And then, you know, when you're like not sleeping at home, when you're sleeping in a hotel or an Airbnb, you just don't sleep as well. That was me. So last night was my first night back home, and I went to bed at like 9:30, but I did wake up really early for the gym this morning. So I think I need another night or two to actually catch up. I'm just gonna kind of press this under the eye. This is the BK Beauty 110 brush. This is basically like a brush and a sponge had a baby, and this is what you get. It blends out concealer super quick, very fast, and it will not absorb a lot of your product like a sponge will. I got asked the other day, are brushes better than a sponge? And it's really honestly dependent on what you like. Sponges are great blending tools. Damp beauty blenders or damp beauty sponges are great blending tools. They will give a very natural application and very natural blend. They'll also absorb a lot of your product. So sometimes that's a good thing. If you tend to be a little heavy-handed, or if you're using a product that is very thick in consistency or heavy, it'll absorb some of that, which could be good. So it's just different. Not necessarily better, just different. Okay, so that is blended in really well. Perfect. Next, we're gonna go and warm up the skin, and I'm gonna use the Merit Beauty Bronzer Stick. This is the shade Cien. It's the Bronze Balm. That's actually the official name of this product. What I love about Merit products is they're very like luxury, high-end products, but they're about 30% less than what you'd find in luxury makeup. So a very good price point. This bronzer is really nice. It's got a really creamy consistency. It blends out beautifully. I always, of course, love the stick formula. I think it's just really easy to apply and kind of contour or precision apply with it. I'm actually going to take this all around my hairline, and I'm going to take a little bit on the sides of my nose too, not necessarily to contour my nose, but just to kind of give this illusion of like a just really truly sun-kissed skin. Like you just got back from Mexico and your skin is glowing and tan. That's what I'm doing. I'm using the same foundation brush that I use. This is the BK Beauty 106, and I'm just kind of blending this in because I want that real all over glow. I'm really kind of pressing the brush, but then also kind of swiping up so that I really spread that product. I don't want it to be too defined. This color is really pretty. It's a nice, really warm shade, but it's not too orangey either. You can use your fingers to blend these products out too. If you are like a real minimalist and you don't like to have a lot of products, or you're traveling, you can always use your finger. That's when you know you have a really good cream consistency, when you can use your fingers and it just blends out and shears out. Okay, and then for my nose, I'm using a big brush, you guys. Again, I'm not contouring my nose. I'm really just giving a golden glow kind of in the center of the face. And I'm even gonna sweep it down here. Perfect. I wanna take that bronze just across the face. Okay, back to business. For blush, I'm gonna use the Flush Balm by Merit Beauty in the shade Terracotta. This is a really beautiful, warm, kind of apricot-y cheek color. These are like a very sheer, buildable cream blush. I'm gonna swatch it on my hand for you. So I'm gonna do one swatch right there so you can kind of see. You can see that it's a very sheer wash of color, but then you can also really layer it and build it if you want more color and more pigment. So I'm gonna show you the difference. Do you see? So here I have it swatched, one swatch really sheer, and then here I've built the color. And this color itself is really nice. It could almost be one of those blushes that you use in lieu of a bronzer. Again, if you are traveling, you don't want to pack a bronzer and a blush, this would be the blush I would go for, or shades like this. And I'm going to apply this right there on the apple of my cheek and kind of pull it back. And I'm going to be a little generous with the pigment because this just blends out so beautifully and so easily that it's really hard to mess up. It really truly is. And I'm actually even going to run it a little bit over my nose. Again, I want that kind of like just got over a sunburn look. I know that sounds a little extreme. I'm gonna take that same brush and I'm just gonna bounce it on top. This brush is gonna blend it out so quickly and easily. I don't wanna over blend it though, because I still wanna see that color, so I'm not gonna over blend it. Perfect. Oh my God, I love that. It's just the prettiest, softest peach. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna add a little bit more. Where did you go? Here you are, you're right here. I'm gonna go in and add a little bit more right there on the apples of the cheek. I know the cheek trends these days, the blush trends are to put it higher, but I've always liked a good blush on the apples of my cheeks. I have quite big apples and I like it. So I say embrace what you love and do what you love. It's nice to keep up on the trends of makeup and incorporate them into your own style, but if you love applying your makeup a certain way and all of a sudden that's not the trend, I say do what makes you feel good, makes you feel pretty, and this makes me feel good. Okay, next let's go ahead and fill in the brows. So I'm gonna use two products for my brows. I'm gonna use a pencil by Lancome. This is the Brow Define Pencil and the shade Light Brown, and I'm gonna go in with the Merit Beauty Brow Gel. And I do need to kind of correct some brow here. I've got very sparse brows, and there's a few areas of my brow where I should have brow hair, but it just will not grow. So I'm going to take my time and kind of draw in what I need. Now, when it comes to brows, brows are very, very personal, and I want to encourage you to really look at like what products you actually need for your brow rather than just kind of following along your favorite YouTuber or, beauty influencer, because their brows might be very different and what they're using you might not actually need. And there are a variety of products for a variety of needs. Now, the reason I like to use a pencil and a gel is because I have very sparse brows, so I really need to create that shape, but I also need to add some volume. And even though I don't have a lot of brow hair, the brow hair that I do have is a little unruly. Like it grows in different directions, it grows down, it grows this way, it goes that way. Brow gel helps keep it in place and add a little bit of volume. But a brow gel alone, it won't give me this shape that I want. So if you are someone that has great shape already and you just want a little more fluff or a little more control with your brows, then you might be able to get away with just a brow gel, a tinted brow gel. Okay, so now that I've created that shape, I'm gonna go in and use a brow gel to tame the brows and also soften the brows. I should say that as well, because you can easily go a little too heavy or harsh with your pencil, and then that can give you really strong angular brows, which I don't want. So I'm going in, this is the shade Brown, and I like the applicator on this. It's the perfect size. It's small enough to really give you some control, but it's full enough to pick up a good amount of product. And this brow gel is tinted, so again, if you already have good brows, this might be enough, or if you really want to embrace like minimal makeup or very light natural makeup, you could just use this alone, but I like to use it in combination with the brow pencil. It's going to help kind of keep those hairs in place. Okay, so let's dive into this new product, the Solo Shadow from Merit Beauty. I have 3 of them. We're just going to be using one, I think. Are we going to use 2? But I am going to show you the 3 that I have. So what this is a cream to powder formula. It is a very unique cream shadow. The first time I used this, the first thing I thought was, wow, this is super silky. It has a really like creamy, it felt more hydrating than other cream shadows that I've ever used before. It just had this really beautiful kind of silky satiny texture, and it just glided on the skin like with such ease that it just stood out to me from other cream shadows that I've used in the past. But once it dries and sets, it stays in place, just like some of my longwear cream shadows that I always talk about and love. It really does stay in place. So it dries down, even though it's like creamy and silky, it totally dries down and stays in place. So we are going to be using the shade, and I hope that I say these shade names correctly. Okay, so this one is easy. Let me show you this one. This is the shade Social, and this is a really pretty lilac shade. And actually I haven't used this shade yet. This reminds me, oh, this is beautiful. Look at this color. It's just a really beautiful kind of like rosy lilac shade. I love playing with makeup. It's just so fun. Okay, so get that dry. Let's swatch this on the hand. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna show you what it looks like when it's kind of sheared out, and then I'm also gonna show you what it's like layered. Ooh, this is a beautiful color. Okay, so let me show you. I'm gonna do 2 swatches here for you. You're gonna see one where it is sheared out, and then you're gonna see one where I really layered it for like full opacity. So to give you an idea of kind of what you can get, it's a really beautiful, warm kind of lilac shade. That is the shade Social. Okay, let's move on and let's look at the next shade. What do I have here? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? I also want to mention that the formula has peptides in it, which really is going to help reduce the appearance of fine lines or texture on the lid. They're very blurring, very beautiful. Okay, so this is the shade Viper. They also have sunflower seed oil in it, which really helps nourish the skin. Now I'm going to kind of keep this sheer in one little swatch, and I'm going to layer it so you can see if you want full opacity and full pigment. I also want to mention that it's great to know that you can get full coverage because you can use these as eyeliners as well. So this is the shade Viper. This is with it kind of sheared out, and I would call this kind of like a really kind of nice, not super dark, but like a deep army green, kind of mossy shade. Really pretty. All right, and then the last shade, and this is the shade we're gonna be using, and this is the one that I've been loving. I've been using this for a couple weeks now. This is the shade Vachetta, and the best way for me to describe this is almost like a warm, like peanut butter. I don't know if that's appealing to you in an eyeshadow, but to me, I just love that warm brown, that mid-tone warm kind of saddle brown. So pretty. Okay, so I'm going to kind of shear it out. Now, it's going to be a little more difficult to see because this is similar to the color of my skin, but you'll really see it on my eyes because my hands are a little deeper than my eyes. Okay, So here is it sheared out, and here is it layered for more pigment. Really beautiful. This would be great as like a primer for a neutral look, or I really personally like to just wear these alone. I don't really like to layer shadow on top of them. I will layer a shadow in the crease if I want a little more definition in the crease, but when you have really nice colored cream shadows like this, I say wear them as your shadow. It's just like, why layer color on top of it? I'm actually gonna apply this with my finger. That's how I like to apply cream shadows. I always like to use my finger because you can really kind of shear it out and just really get a nice, nice sheer, even application. So I'm gonna start in the center of my lid and just kind of blend this from my lashes into my crease. Now add a little bit more so you can see already. You can see the color. It's subtle just because the shade is similar to my skin tone, but you can definitely see it. Add a little more. Now what they say with these is you've got about 20-ish seconds or so before they dry down. So if you find that you need more time, what I would recommend doing is using doing one eye at a time. So do one eye and blend it out if you need to, and then go and do the other eye. And I don't really feel like I need to blend it out with a brush because my finger did a great job. They're just really, really easy to work with. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. And with the latte makeup trend, I've seen this done so many different ways. That's why I like to say, put your own spin on it. You can do a dramatic latte eye look. I'm gonna do something kind of in the middle. It's not gonna be like minimal, no makeup, but it's definitely not gonna be super glam. It's gonna be very wearable, kind of easy, everyday, very wearable look. Okay, perfect. This is very silky and satin and has a very unique texture. So I think that if you use cream shadows and you try this, you will know exactly what I mean. Okay, let's go in. I'm going to powder the center of the face because I forgot to do that. For powder, I'm using the Essence My Skin Protector Loose Fixing Powder. I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna use a little powder brush just to precision powder. I wanna keep the glow that I have going on. I just wanna control any areas that I feel are a little shiny, which is always my forehead. And I do wanna set underneath my eyes. I wanna be careful not to powder too much over those Flush Balm and Bronze Balm because I wanna keep that glow. So although my instinct is to powder everywhere where it's shiny, I'm just gonna powder the areas that I know are not intentionally glowy. Perfect, okay. I love this. Love it, love it. Okay, my lips are a little dry. I'm gonna put on a little bit of the Merit Beauty lip oils. This is the shade Au Natural. This is the tinted lip oil. I love these. These are one of my favorite lip oil formulas. Very lightweight, but a good amount of pigment. And I just applied it to the bottom because I'm gonna take this off and remove it and put on lipstick in a little bit, but wanted to have that. Okay, next we're gonna go in and line the eyes. I'm using the NYX retractable pencil in the shade Bronze. This is one of my favorite drugstore pencils. And I am going to just slightly line the outer half of the lid. And I don't want this liner to be thick. I want it to be very thin. I almost want it to be undetectable and more like just definition at the lash line. All right, I am gonna go and kind of smoke this out a bit. I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 210 brush and I'm just gonna kind of put some pressure and really smudge and smoke that out. It doesn't need to be perfect. You really just wanna soften that line, and you wanna do this before the liner has time to dry, or set, I should say. It's not really a wet formula, but it is a creamy formula. Perfect. Okay. And I ended up taking that liner a little too low. I made a mistake there. So I'm just going to take my finger and kind of pull that up. For the lower lash, I'm going to take the Solo Shadow in the same shade, and I'm going to take the same brush that I just used, and I'm going to use this as my lower lash line. And I'm just going to do a nice, thick, kind of diffused, smoky, I say smoky just because of the way it's applied, not necessarily the color. I'm going to go all the way from the outer corner to the inner corner. Because it's not a really dark shade, it's not going to close up the eye or weigh the eye down. Okay, you know what? I want a little liner on the bottom, so I'm gonna take that same NYX pencil and we're gonna line, I would say about 1/3 of the lash line. Wow, do you see how that really changes it? So I wanna be careful. I do not wanna go too heavy with this or too far over. I just want a little bit of depth right in the outer corner. So I'm gonna take that same brush and just kind of blend that in. Perfect, okay. All right, good. Now we have a good situation happening with the eyes. I really, really like this. The last thing I'm gonna do just to kind of clean up the eye and really just get a little more brightness is I'm gonna take that Merit Beauty complexion stick and I'm going to take a little bit and kind of just draw a line from the outer corner of my eye up to the end of my brow. This is just gonna clean up that eyeshadow line, because sometimes when we do our eyeshadow, if we take it down too far and kind of bring the eye down. So doing this last little step, and you can even use your finger to blend it out, doing this last little step will really subtly lift the eye. It's a subtle difference, but it really does make a difference. These are like the little extra tweaks that you can do to your makeup that are subtle. They're extra, it takes a little extra time, but they really do make the difference. Perfect. Okay, lovely. Next, we're gonna curl lashes, apply lash primer and mascara. And I'm gonna go in with my favorite lash primer. This is the Dior Show. And we're gonna really build this up to, my lashes right now are kind of short and thin. I'm going through a growth phase. Did you guys know that our lashes shed and grow? Like, I think it's, don't quote me, but I've heard 45 days to 6 weeks kind of thing. Which I guess that is 6 weeks, isn't it? 45 to 60 days, maybe that's what I've heard. But your lashes like are on a shed cycle. They grow, shed, grow, shed. Sometimes my lashes are strong and long, and sometimes they are short and weak. All right, and then for mascara, I'm using Merit Beauty's mascara. This is Perfect Black. I'm gonna place this at the root and just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I really want to load my mascara up. Like I said, my lashes are kind of puny right now, so I want all the help I can get. Perfect, okay. All right, and I'm gonna go on the other side. I am gonna go back. With this formula, I like to kind of do one good layer, let it set, and then go back and add a little more. That's a great technique to do if your lashes are really short. I find that I get better results from my mascara when I do that. Rather than sit here and layer and layer and layer and layer while it's all wet, let it kind of set a bit and then go back and layer another layer. Okay, go back over here. I just find that you get a little more dramatic results that way. This mascara is nice. It'll fan out the lash as well. It's a good formula. It's nice and volumizing and lengthening. Doesn't get clumpy. Pretty. What a difference. Ooh, lots of fullness. I like this. Okay. And I am going to do the lower lash line. If you make a mess and you get a little mascara like I did, just let it sit. Mascara is really meant to adhere to hair, not to skin. So if you can resist the urge to go in and try and clean it off when it's wet, just wait a few minutes, let it dry, and then you can usually flake it off pretty easily with a brush or a Q-tip. Pretty, okay. Okay, so we are at lips. We are at the final stage. I'm gonna go ahead and remove what I have on my lips. If you can remember to always put something hydrating on your lips before, well, like when you start your makeup application, whether it's lip balm, clear, tinted, whatever, it will make such a difference in the application of your lip products. If you have dry lips or textured lips, I have both. If I don't do that before, when I go in with my liner and my lipstick, it just looks terrible. It looks like dry, or the lines on my lips are more emphasized. So always go and hydrate the lips first if you can remember. Okay, so to line the lips, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in the shade Iconic Nude. And I am going to slightly overline the lips. It's difficult for me to speak when I'm lining the lips, so I'm going to kind of tell you what I'm doing first. I always start in the outer corner and I kind of slowly pull and drag the liner to meet the center of my lip. Now, when you're overlining the lips, I always say start at like the border of the lip and just kind of go over it back and forth, over it back and forth. That line is going to start to get a little bit thicker. And I find that easier than actually kind of starting outside of the lip line. And I like this shade for kind of a neutral nude lip because it's like the color of my lips, but a little more brown, but it's not too brown. It's nice because when the lipstick wears off, this lip line isn't so obvious. If I were to go in with a darker brown or deeper color or bold color, when my lipstick wears off, I'm left with like this bold lip line around the lip. And unless you are on top of your lip touch-ups all day, I wouldn't want to be caught like that, you know? So I like to use lip pencils that really kind of are just slightly enhanced from my lip color. Okay, perfect. Next, I'm going to go in with Merit Beauty lipstick, and this is the shade Baby, and it is kind of a cool tone, pinky nude. These are nice and real pigmented. They're very comfortable on the lips. They're actually not sheer. They have a good amount of color, but they're not super shiny either. They're just like your good classic lipstick. And then I am going to top this with a little bit of the Merit lip oil in the shade Au Naturel. This is what I applied earlier, but I'm only going to do the lower lip because I don't want to change the shade of the lipstick too much. I'm just going to do the lower lip. I'm going to press together, and then I'm going to see if I want to blot it with my finger. Yeah, kind of blot it with my finger a bit. Okay, and then last, I want to go in and add a little bit more blush just because why not? Blush is so fun. And instead of going directly to the skin, I'm actually going to use the brush, pick it up, and I'm just going to kind of do almost like this W across the face. So we're going to go like this, and then we're going to bring it across the nose too, because I really want that kind of, like I said, I'm really going for that. Just got away from the sun, just got back from vacation, kind of glow, and I'm going to take a little bit on the forehead too. Perfect. So this is the finished look. This is my take on a really warm latte inspired makeup look. Not super glam, but not minimal either. It's great for every day, and it's pretty easy. I know I took a lot of time really explaining the steps that I was doing, but I think you could knock this look out in 10 minutes, 15 minutes? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Do you think you could knock this out in 10 minutes? Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll have all the products that I used along with the shade names and brushes listed and linked down below in the description box. Don't forget to shop Merit Beauty's website when you're shopping their products because you get free shipping on orders of $40 or more. And if you're a brand new customer, you get their signature bag included in your first order. So that's super cute. It's just a great gift. I love companies that offer a nice gift. It's kind of like, I mean, I know it's already exciting to receive a package that you've ordered, but when it comes with a little something extra, it just makes it that more special. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really loved filming this. It's been a couple weeks since I filmed last. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.